What's up? A to Z Sports live on a Wednesday on location once again as the A to Z Sports Gift Tour 2020 continues. Today we are talking Vols, and we're talking something that happened on Twitter and then was quickly deleted as a Vols quarterback blasted the Tennessee fan base for going after Jarrett Guarantano. So we will discuss this latest drama in the Tennessee Vols football program. But today we are live from Harvest Wine Market off Highway 100 in Belmead. It's a fantastic place. We've been learning a lot from Laura here this morning and what they have to offer, what all the different specialty things they have for your holiday season, whether it's rare champagnes, great wine selection, amazing tequila and bourbon for gift options and your holiday parties as well. And it can be a lot. It can be really nice, or it can be just what you need. You know, your $10, $15 bottle of wine, whatever it might be for you. Harvest Wine Market on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Our guy Jack Gentry is actually going around and putting up some extra content from here on our Instagram story this morning. But Zach, we're going to have a big show as live from Harvest Wine Market. We'll talk about Brian Maurer and what happened on Twitter and that was quickly deleted. Then we'll dive into the quarterback controversy that Jeremy Pruitt, in my mind, created himself. And then things are bad for the head coach when one certain thing starts to happen. We'll do that. And then, of course, it's Wednesday, which means shade. And I'm excited for my shade, Zach. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go with the shade today.
Yeah, I had to make an altercation in my shade. I altered it from what I was going to talk about something earlier in the week, and then now something happened last night that I have to talk about.
Yeah,
I have got to bring up. I think it's ridiculous, and there is a theme. There is a responsibility theme. It will all come full circle for the shade. So excited here, live to be from Harvest Wine Market right here in Belmead off Highway 100. We're going to talk to you a lot throughout the course of the show about gift ideas. Okay, Christmas is right around the corner. The holidays are here. Gift ideas right here on our gift tour. Before we get going officially, bottom right corner of your screen, if you're watching on Twitter/Periscope, you can share the broadcast that way. You'll see those three little dots. Share around, share the show. We got a lot to discuss. We need to pop up in your Twitter followers timeline. What's going on Twitch, what's going on YouTube. We're also streaming on Facebook. More people will pile in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. As you guys do, please share the show. Bottom left corner of your screen, if you're watching on Facebook, share now to public. Sharing is caring. Caring is sharing, especially in the holiday season, Austin.
Right.
So let's get rocking and rolling live from Harvest Wine Market right here in Belmead.
Yep, gonna have a big show. Welcome in. Let me start over. That was bad. Welcome into A to Z Sports. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at A to Z Sports, like our Facebook page at A to Z Sports Nashville. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time. Got to thank our sponsors because they make everything happen for our show and for you guys. Renters Warehouse, the professional landlords in the Nashville area. RentersWarehouse.com is our website. Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, for one 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com, your first workout's free. The Tucker Agency, Nashville's independent insurance agency, saving you money on your personal insurance at TuckerTN.com. If you need new hardwood floors or finishings, CalvinandSettle.com in the Mid-State is where you should go. And the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. So, Zach, we all know that it's been a volatile football season for the Tennessee Vols program, the fan base, and everybody involved with the Vols, right? It's not been good. After a 2-0 start, they've lost 6 straight. And they've lost 6 straight by double digits, which is the longest losing streak by double digits in school history. Jeremy Pruitt has a lot of haters. And Jarrett Guarantano, Zach, has had a lot of haters really for the last several years. And Brian Maurer, Vols' backup quarterback, stood up to the general fan base on Twitter yesterday with a tweet, and then he promptly took it down. So I find this very interesting. So we will put up here on our screen the tweet from Brian Maurer, and I'll read it as we all read it here. Here's from Brian Maurer. Let's get this clear. This isn't your team. You are a fan of us. Until you put in the blood, he means sweat, and tears we do, this will not be your team. As a team, we spend countless hours a week, years away from our family, and all that for someone like you to criticize us. And then he ends it with no disrespect. So, Zach, I don't really know what to do with that. I'm going to let you start here because you have zero affiliation with the Vols football program. I'm a Tennessee graduate, and I will let you go, and then we'll read some comments about what is happening with Brian Maurer here.
Well, and Brian Maurer has had a tumultuous Vols career.
Correct.
I mean, hasn't he? Right? The ups and downs of being a backup quarterback, being in the shadow of Jarrett Guarantano for a lot of that time, and then getting opportunity, not capitalizing it. On it a couple of weeks ago, you thought he was in L.A. He's made some questionable decisions. Now he has come out and he's been honest that he has dealt with and struggled with some mental illness. And that,
sure.
Look, we respect that. But the problem I have with Brian Maurer is he doesn't understand how this works, right? You don't understand what going to Tennessee actually means. You don't understand what being a football player in 2020 means. Do you understand social media? Obviously not that well because you were quick to delete that tweet. But if you are in the public eye, and Austin, you know what? I speak if you are in the public eye because you and I are both in the public eye. We put ourselves out there.
Now, to a much smaller level than what Brian Maurer is, but yes.
I don't know. We put our opinions
exactly.
We put our opinions on the line every single day.
But we don't play football on TV every Saturday.
Well, neither does he because he doesn't play.
Well,
but
he technically did.
Well, I'm just stating facts.
Okay.
But when you put yourself in the public eye, you have to understand that you are up for criticism. And it's how you deal with that criticism that I think separates you. If you want to be a professional athlete, which I think if you ask Brian Maurer, he would say yes, he wants to be. Now, will he be? I don't really know. I would doubt that. But you have to understand that this is how it works. And to go criticize, and you talk about public eye, one of probably the reasons why Brian Maurer went to Tennessee was because of maybe the facilities, maybe the coaching staff, the fan base, the campus, all of those things. Well, who takes more pride in that? Well, that's the fans. Those are the ones that, pay the bills, per se. The reason why that there is a university and Knoxville is the way that it is. So I think it's pretty ridiculous for what he said to attack an entire fan base. Don't do this. So in my opinion, Brian Maurer, that was stupid. That was idiotic. And you know what? You would probably admit that because you deleted the tweet quickly after. The other thing, and this is the last thing I'll say before we move forward, is you have to understand when you sign up to be a Tennessee volunteer football player that you are going to get some of the highest scrutiny in college football. Vol Twitter does not play around. And you have to also understand when you criticize a fan base like that. Look, Alabama is similar. LSU is similar. Ohio State is similar. Michigan is similar. Texas is similar. But the Tennessee fan base is a different breed.
Mm-hmm.
Do not call them out because, first, there's too many of them. You're never going to win.
True. And
you are going to backpedal like he did and delete a tweet.
Yeah, A to Z Sports here live at Harvest Wine Market in Belmead. Let me just throw the tweet up there again. Let's get this clear from Brian Maurer. Let's get this clear. This isn't your team. You are a fan of us. Until you put in the blood, sweat, and tears we do, this will not be your team. As a team, we spend countless hours, years away from our family for someone to criticize like that. And let's remember this. There wasn't like a specific comment from a single Vol fan towards Jarrett Guarantano that prompted this. This is just a cumulative reaction off of what's happened.
Well, there's thousands of them.
Yes, and that's what cumulative means, is that all of these, the last couple of years that Brian Maurer has seen go at his friend, somebody he calls his brother. And look, I do like the fact that a teammate is standing up for another teammate. But the ignorance in saying this isn't your team, it's my team, it's our team because you haven't sweat like us. Bro, I paid tuition there for 4 years. It can be my team if I damn well want it to be my team. So anybody who is a donor that pays for your scholarship, it's also their team. That's not how this works. So maybe this is a massive wake-up call, but Brian Maurer, you're not good enough, frankly, to be able to go out there and say something like this and be able to thrive after it. People will always remember this. People don't forget, and Vol fans definitely don't forget. So Brian Maurer, you put yourself in a tough spot moving forward, because standing up for your teammate is one thing. You should absolutely do this. Tweeting at football players as grown men and women is a stupid thing to do as well. Don't do that. Like, both things are bad. This tweet from Brian Maurer makes no sense and really put him in a bad spot, in my opinion.
Well, and to support your teammate is one thing, right? If he would have, and you got to pick and choose your tweets, right? Think before you tweet. And he didn't. He did not think this out, because and here's the other thing. He deleted it.
Yeah.
Why did he delete it?
Because he probably realized how bad it was.
Because he regretted it? Did somebody tell him to delete it?
My guess is
he calling that he got hacked? Right? Like,
yeah, I got hacked.
Right? But
hackers don't have spells.
He admitted I think he admitted his defeat in this tweet by deleting it. And you have to pick your words wisely, especially, and a lot of people have said it in the comments, and we're about to get more interaction here with our question, is you're 2-6. You're 2-6
for your last.
No. But like this team that has bled and sweated and all of that stuff, like, teams do that, and this is a strange year. But you cannot say this when you have performed on the field so poorly.
Right.
So that's my kind of initial thought. The question we're going to ask you guys, though, and this is where we want your involvement. We're broadcasting live here from Harvest Wine Market off Highway 100 right here in Belmead. Brian Maurer blasting Vols fans on Twitter. We'll also show you the tweet. Is that fair or foul? I would be curious, and I kind of open up the comment section. Can somebody say that it is fair? I would love to hear that argument.
Yeah, I would love to hear it. If anybody has a fair argument, bring your best to work today. All right, A to Z Sports here live from Harvest Wine Market. But first, let me tell you guys about Renters Warehouse. They are the professional landlords in the Nashville area. RentersWarehouse.com is where to go to find out how much your home can rent for. The rental market in Nashville is booming, and certain times people rent. Also, regulations have changed quite a bit. So if you're DIYing your rental property, you should probably hand it over to the pros and let them make the money for you. Renters Warehouse Nashville has all the connections to be able to make the most out of your rental property and make it a true cash flow machine. RentersWarehouse.com is where to go. Also, if you've lost your job, unfortunately, or lost significant income, your current mortgage, use that for your benefit. That can help you out with an extra cash flow for you and your family. RentersWarehouse.com.
Austin, I want you to scan the comments while I feature our first liquor of the day, which is unbelievable. Whistle Pig. This is the A to Z Sports gift tour. We do this every single year leading up to the holiday season. These are gift ideas for you. Right here, featured right here at Harvest Wine Market. We've got a 12-year aged bourbon that comes out once a year. It's Whistle Pig. And I've actually had Whistle Pig before. I have not had this particular 12-year. Whistle Pig is it is a great brand, and it is right here at Harvest Wine Market. That is Highway 100 Belmead. This is a great gift for whether it's the man in your life, if you're going to a holiday party, maybe it's a small gathering this year because of COVID.
Right.
This is a great gift. That's Whistle Pig 12-year. They've got it right here at Harvest Wine Market.
All right, so the question is Brian Maurer blasting Vol fans on Twitter for comments about JG, fair or foul? I'm going to go ahead and leave up the tweet while I go through some of these comments so people who come in and out of the show can understand what we're talking about. Let's see. Sean says, did Pruitt or Fulmer take it down? I highly doubt those guys made it take it down, but he was told to take it down. No doubt about it. Blessed Mess says foul. Let's see. Liz says yes. Donald says very foul. He has no leg to stand on right now with how the team is playing. Brian says foul for a horrible record of the team. He had some you know what, to post that. Liz says, first of all, this tweet was not a blast. Oh, this tweet was absolutely a blast. He said it's not your team. it's their team. So he was going after the fans there. Louis is the first fair. He just says freedom of speech, and maybe that's the only fair that
Freedom
you
of
can bring
scrutiny,
is
right?
Yes.
It's freedom of speech, but again, actions speak louder than words. And his actions by deleting the tweet is one of the, I think, the most telling signs of this.
Yeah.
He admitted his wrongs.
Right. Okay. I will also say this.
Why didn't he stand up to it and say, I believe this. This is what I believe. It's our team. It's not the fans' team. I'm not going to delete the tweet.
And then Greg says freedom of consequence. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I think Louis was being sarcastic. Now, Matthew, who's saying he sobered up and took it down, that's also crossing the line of saying that Brian Maurer was under the influence of a substance when he did this. So, Matthew, check yourself.
Well, that's an assumption.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. Check yourself, because if a guy, Brian Maurer, who I give a lot of credit for announcing and talking publicly about his issue with depression, and now you're going out here and saying that he was under the influence of something when he did that, that's a you problem, Matthew. So I think you should get out of here with those type of comments. Tress says, I'm dumbfounded by this one. However, at least someone has the stones to speak up. G-Man on base is fair, but expect and accept consequences.
Let's talk about Jarrett Guarantano.
Okay.
Okay. What is this all about? The whole point is about bad play. Guarantano was brutal this year. He was awful. He threw more interceptions to the other team, right? Like he got pulled multiple times. The cream did not rise to the top. He was who he was. He destroyed this season. And look, his coach didn't help by keeping him in. And Brian Maurer, you can support your guy, but there are ways to go about it. Here's some free advice for you, Brian Maurer. Instead of tweeting what you tweeted, all you had to do is, I will always have my guys back at Jarrett Guarantano.
End of tweet. At Broadway.
You know what that's going to do? That's going to bring people together.
Yes.
But what you have done is kind of the opposite, right?
Yep.
You've separated a fan base, and Austin, you and I know about this fan base just because we've been doing this for a while, is they're in a delicate spot. Tennessee is starving to win. They're starving to be in the position that Florida is this year. They're tired of watching Georgia in a national championship game and in a college football playoff. They're tired of losing to Kentucky, which they don't usually do, that now they're doing. They've lost to Vanderbilt here in the last 5 to 6 years, more than they ever have. They're in a delicate spot. So what Brian Maurer did, and to answer the question, because that's what we're asking, is this fair or foul? The comments in every sense of the word is foul, because you are separating the one thing that you're trying to fix. You can't break it apart. You need to come together, especially in a season where you're 2-6. You just got drummed by Florida and embarrassed on national television, and you're about to face a rival, Vanderbilt, who has, look, I don't know how that game's going to go, but they're two bad teams.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt should never consistently beat Tennessee, but here we are.
Yeah.
So this is foul on Brian Maurer because he did the complete polar opposite of what needs to happen. He fed into the trolls.
Yeah, and Liz asked, why is this all on his shoulders? And I'm not sure if you're saying Jarrett Guarantano's
shoulders. I do respect
or
Liz. Liz is trying to support
yes,
Brian.
Look, but again, Brian
tough,
Maurer put it on Brian Maurer's shoulders by how he tweeted, emotionally tweeting and saying to you guys, the fans, it's not your team, it's my team. It's mine, not yours. He diminished you. That's why it's on his shoulders, because that's what he tweeted. And it's just the worst type of look. Zach, you're right. If he just said, I'm behind my guy, my brother, Jarrett Guarantano, always much respect, work hard. I see how he works. Just make it about how good of a person and how hard of a worker Jarrett Guarantano is, and leave it at that. Once you bring the fans in, now you open it all up. Now, I will say this. If this was a quote tweet to a specific fan's comment that was over the line, I can get on board with that. But this was just a general stand on my soapbox. You can't get on
board with what
with a megaphone. Again, if there was one guy like Matthew who said something over the line, and Brian Maurer quote tweets that one fan and says, "This is bad on this guy. This fan is a problem," then
it still doesn't justify. It's still foul. He still fed into the Twitter trolls.
Again, I'm not saying he should do that. I'm saying I would feel differently if it was directed at one person's comments.
I wouldn't.
But no, why? Because he's calling out one person. That's fine.
He let the troll get to him.
He called out the entire fan base.
He's smarter than that, or he should be.
He should be.
I want to get to a couple of comments.
Okay.
Tress brings up, would it matter if they were 6-2? Would it be justified? The thing is, Tress, they probably wouldn't be doing this if they were 6-2, right? You wouldn't be calling out guys, and he wouldn't get upset because they wouldn't be in that situation. I understand what you're saying. And Kenneth brings up a point, and we got a ton of comments rolling in, so definitely lost that. He goes, whose fault is that? Poor Tennessee fans? Demand the people who make the decisions to be more accountable. Stop trying to blame the students. What do you think about Kenneth's statement right here where he's supporting the student athlete? And I think we coddle the student athlete because the student athlete is an employee. Let's face it. Let's call a spade a spade. They ain't students, okay? They're athletic students. They're athletic students that don't get paid, but the school and the NCAA and the conferences reap the benefit off of their services.
All right.
But what do you think about stop trying to blame the students from Kenneth, make it more about maybe Philip Fulmer or the chancellor or the university?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I mean, my role, I stated it earlier, Brian Maurer was in the wrong by generalizing and bashing the entire fan base on a tweet. People who tweet at college athletes telling them how much they suck or how much they hate them and all the things that Jarrett Guarantano has gotten on social media is over the line. Adults who tweet at recruits for not going to their school need help because that's so bad. Don't do that. That's how I stand. Like if look, my job is to watch sports and have an opinion on sports. So whenever I tweet about a player, it's not personal. It's about their performance. If you want to tweet about their performance, that's fine. But just bashing them in their mentions over and over and over to a college athlete is not the right way to do it. Absolutely always hold the coaching staff accountable, which is why I think Jeremy Pruitt doesn't deserve next year.
Well, Blessed Mess, I want to give him the love of the show because this is just a really funny comment. He says, plenty of Vol fans are like, okay, it's your team. It's not mine. They're 2-6.
You can have it.
I don't want them.
Thanks. It's basketball season.
That's a really good comment by Blessed Mess. I do want to bring up, again, Liz has kind of been the voice of the support maybe of the player and the student. He says, I think we need to be responding differently. The amount of pressure on this team is outrageous. But Liz, that's what you sign up for when you sign a scholarship. It's just a part of the deal, right? So it would be, and I was just comparative what we do is like, it would be outrageous if we got offended by every time somebody called me an idiot, which is pretty regularly.
Every day. I would say it's every day.
Right?
At least one of us, either one of us gets
right.
called
And they slide in our DMs saying, I'm stupid. I'm going to get a terrible take. Your company sucks, all that stuff. But it's about, honestly, it's self-awareness and understanding what you're doing and the territory that comes with it. And I think Brian Maurer, I think a lot of things have kind of stacked on top of themselves to get Brian Maurer to tweet out something that he obviously regrets because he deleted the tweet.
Now, I don't
2-6.
I don't think just because he deleted it means he regrets it. He deleted it because he was told to. Now, does he?
You don't know that. That's an assumption. You're just like that other guy that assumed he was drinking.
No,
so I'm going to call you out.
That's a little bit different.
You don't know. You assume.
But
are you assuming?
Zach,
are you assuming?
I'm not assuming he was under the influence of something.
What are you assuming, though?
I can also make an educated guess about something where
it's called an assumption.
When a player tweets something and is taken down,
it's called an
I know
assumption.
how college athletics work, where they get
But you don't know this,
Zach.
He could have done this on his own.
I'm saying, but you also said that he regrets it. You don't know that he regrets it either.
His actions speak louder than his words.
We don't know what the action was for.
He either regretted it because
or he was told to take it down.
No, he regrets it because he was either told to take it down or he took it down himself. If he actually stood up for it, then no amount of peer pressure from a chancellor, a coach, a student body would tell him to take it down. If he stood up for what he believes, he'd stand by his tweet.
That's not how it works.
That is how it works.
No,
if you stand for something, you keep the tweet.
No.
If you regret it, you take it down.
No, you're also assuming by his regret because the tweet is deleted. That's not how college athletics work. College athletics work that if
you can tweet whatever you want. It's
from,
freedom of speech. That's one thing Louis had.
Okay, if somebody from the program says delete that tweet right now, the player's going.
He's not going to play. What does he have to lose? He ain't playing on Saturday.
Okay, all right. Let's. I mean, yes, you're right there, but you're also assuming by the regret.
He has nothing to lose.
We don't know that he regrets it. You're just saying that because the tweet's not there.
Okay, we'll wait for his apology.
All right.
Has he tweeted since?
No. Well, yes, he has. He's retweeted and quote tweeted some things or some random stuff. All right, A to Z Sports here live at the Harvest Wine Market, Zach. Let's talk about the quarterback situation specifically because Jeremy Pruitt kind of blew up when he was asked about quarterback controversy. Well, he created the quarterback controversy. So we want to know who should be the Vols quarterback for the rest of the season. But first, Zach, tell the people about the Tucker Agency.
Yeah, TuckerTN.com is where you need to get your insurance. You can restructure your insurance policy. Probably you didn't even know how much you're paying, and that's a problem. The average customer saves 20% when they email will@TuckerTN.com. They're local right here in Nashville, but they can take care of you anywhere you are. Just email will@TuckerTN.com. All you have to do is subject line A to Z Sports Insurance. Then email. I'm literally composing the email for you right here on the show. Hey, heard about you on A to Z Sports. How can I save money on my insurance? His team will go back, look at your insurance policy, restructure it. The average customer saves 20%. That's will@TuckerTN.com.
A to Z Sports. Don't forget mybookie.ag, code MyTitans to double your first deposit. Live from Harvest Wine Market here, Highway 100 in Belmead. A amazing spot for your holiday season gift ideas and for your parties. They got rare champagnes. It'll be great for your holidays. This Whistle Pig Zach talked about. This is Laura told us this is one of her favorite winemakers in the world right here. They've got a lot of things, a lot of wide variety you can get, whether it's $10 for a bottle all the way up to the really nice stuff. Harvest Wine Market on Instagram as well. Zach, the question is, who should start at quarterback the rest of the season? Open-ended. They've got 4 options. Jarrett Guarantano, Harrison Bailey, JT Shrouder, Brian Maurer. Those 4 guys have all gotten meaningful snaps so far this season. So who should be the starter?
Well, it's not Brian Maurer, so we can kind of, and maybe, I don't know if that his frustrations have stemmed off of that, right? Like, I don't know why. There's probably a lot of things on why he tweeted what he tweeted, but it's not Brian Maurer. It's between 2. Here's the issue, I think, if I was a Tennessee fan, which I'm not. I try to bring some unbiased. I don't have any Vol glasses. I don't have orange glasses. They're tinted with red and blue and Lane Kiffin. So I'm an Ole Miss guy. So I try to bring, when we have Vol conversations, a different perspective to this. Mm-hmm. The worst part about watching that Florida game is that Harrison Bailey is kind of, I thought, your only hope for this year. I don't know what's going to happen next year. You got a new quarterback coming in.
Caden Salter, who's apparently, he says he's signing on December 16th, and he's an early enrollee. So hypothetically, if the Vols do accept a bowl bid, another conversation, then Caden Salter could start practicing during those bowl practices, which would be a big deal for just developmental.
You don't need developmental. Here's the issue. Tennessee is at a point.
Many practices you could possibly get.
No, what I'm saying is you need somebody who can come in and be the starter, and you can't. Jeremy Pruitt has to quit playing quarterback carousel. He's been doing this for years, and he wanted Jarrett Guarantano to be the guy, but he was not the guy. The record shows that. The interceptions show that. The pick 6 show that. Now you're down to Harrison Bailey, which I like the fact that he started him against Florida. Then things got stale, so you had to yank him. And JT Shrout came in there, and he did some good things. I watched that game in its entirety, and there were times where he used his legs. Now, was Florida playing back because they had a big lead? Yes. Were they playing as hard because they had a big lead? No, they weren't. But JT Shrout made some plays, drove down the field. But you're kind of in a situation. You have to beat Vanderbilt. You do. That is, and if they play, which I hope they play, but I don't know.
If they don't play, that
it helps Jeremy Pruitt.
I could say an argument that it hurts because the last taste in your mouth you get is an ugly performance against Florida.
But you weren't going to beat Florida anyway. That was
right.
That
but
was
again,
expected.
Well, the last taste you get in your mouth is a 6-game losing streak, all by double digits. into Arkansas, Kentucky, and Auburn.
But the test of where this university and this football program is not playing Florida. The real true test to find out where Tennessee truly is as a football program is playing Vanderbilt. Because Vanderbilt has won 0 games this year.
Did you see Vanderbilt's depth chart this week? They have deep defensive backs at outside linebacker.
And if you can't beat Vanderbilt, or if you play Vanderbilt close, it tells you everything you need to know about Tennessee. That's why I say
I don't think the game's going to happen.
That's out of our hands. God. That's in the hands of a COVID. But I look at this situation. I say it's a terrible situation to be in because you're 2-6. You're playing for nothing. People are trying to end the season, right? I mean, you've seen that all over college football, and you're just not in a great spot. It's the complete polar opposite of how last season ended with a lot of hope with a bowl win. You're just not in that same spot. Here's kind of where I'm at, Austin. I'll be honest. I don't think the quarterback matters. I'm kind of at that point.
How does it not matter?
I don't think the season matters. I think it's done.
Yes,
I don't know if Harrison Bailey getting more snaps is going to do that much, or if JT Strout coming in and starting against Vanderbilt is going to do that much. We know what Jarrett Guarantano is. Brian Maurer sit there and set fire to the entire fan base. I'm just this is my personal opinion, Austin, is this is where the season is right now. Right. And it's unfortunate. And they have done this. Don't blame it on COVID.
I'm not.
Blame it on I'm generalizing. Okay. Don't blame it on COVID. Blame it on Jeremy Pruitt and what he has been able to not do this football season.
Hilarious comment by Richard on YouTube. Says DB's at linebacker. Wow, Tennessee definitely won't be able to throw the ball. But it is a good comment. So it's not about this season anymore. You're right. Like this season is now pointless. But it's about getting your quarterback that has been the biggest detriment to this program over the last 3 years more reps, so 2021 does not become pointless. That's
you need a new guy.
So you're saying after seeing Harrison Bailey for 3 quarters, you don't think Harrison Bailey's it?
I think you need I personally, this is my personal opinion for Tennessee, I think because of their running game, they need a dual threat quarterback. That's something
I don't like disagree with it or hate it, but
no, I'm that's what I'm saying. I'm putting my staff down right now, and I'm saying Tennessee, with their running game and the way that their offense is structured right now, they need a dual threat quarterback that can get them third downs that their quarterbacks now cannot.
Okay, and Rob says that's what Caden Salter is. Yes,
I know. I say that because I know
Caden Salter grew up watching Pat Mahomes. He has a similar style. I knew you were going to do this
because it's a terrible comparison.
No, it's not. I'm not comparing him.
It's like
I'm saying like Zach. I grew up watching Kobe Bryant. That means I like to do a turnaround jumper like Kobe does. Does that mean I'm as good as Kobe? No. So listen and understand what I'm saying. Caden Salter plays the style of Patrick Mahomes because that's who he grew up watching. He is nowhere near, not even sniffing the jock of Patrick Mahomes. Does that make sense?
That makes me feel a little
That's
bit
what
better.
I was about to say before you started getting ahead of yourself.
When you put him in the same sentence.
I know, because you're not listening. Because people don't understand what a comparison is and what a comparison is.
I listen to you every day. I do listen.
Oh, jeez. But Caden Salter is a hope piece. Harrison Bailey has to get as many reps as possible before the 2021 season opener so you can at least find out what you have there. He is the only hope you can sell moving forward because Tennessee fans are so beyond over with Jeremy Pruitt for the most part that they're going to be apathetic in the offseason. They need Harrison Bailey to go out and throw a couple touchdown passes against Vandy, Texas A&M, or whoever they might play in the Liberty Bowl. I don't know. They need Harrison Bailey to throw touchdown passes before this season is over so they can feel better for the next 8 months.
Well, and the reason why I say that they need a dual threat quarterback, and I think B Hall said it on Periscope, is they need somebody to cover their mistakes. And he referenced Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs was on a team, and we all know in 2016 that underachieved because of South Carolina loss and Vanderbilt loss and Jalen Hurts kind of screwing the season. But Josh Dobbs covered a ton of mistakes on the offensive line.
Yep.
And a dual threat quarterback in college can cover a lot of mistakes. Tennessee right now, they don't have the guys, they don't have the quarterback to make the throws necessary. And Jim Chaney have your opinions about his offense, but Jim Chaney needs an adequate quarterback, and he doesn't have one. So I don't know whether he'll stay or go. I have no idea what the offseason is going to bring. But they need somebody that can bring in juice to say, and look, I haven't seen Salter or what he can do. I've seen a little bit of highlights on YouTube. I don't know what he's going to be as a college quarterback, but this fan base needs some hope. They need desperate hope that Jeremy Pruitt refused to give them with Harrison Bailey earlier on the year because he was stubborn with Guarantano. Now they need somebody to just give the keys to and hope that he turns into Johnny Manziel and have some electricity to ignite this fan base a hell of a lot better than Brian Maurer did.
But they can't do that with Jeremy Pruitt. Like the quarterback that they get.
Jeremy Pruitt's on his last ditch effort. He's on the hot seat going into next year. Agreed?
Yeah.
I agree, right?
Yeah.
Easy.
If he gets there, which I think he will because of situations.
When you're on the hot seat, you do things out of desperation.
So I was on Buck's podcast, 615 Sessions with Chad Withrow earlier this week, and we talked through a lot of this stuff. And Chad brought up, okay, Tyson Helton was a mistake. Pruitt moved on. Jim Chaney all of a sudden now looks like an awful offensive coordinator after he's had success at Arkansas, at Pitt, at Georgia, at Purdue back in the day, and at Tennessee back in the day. He's had success at those 5 programs. Oh, but now he's bad. At what point is this a Jeremy Pruitt problem that back-to-back offensive coordinators over a 3-year stretch have been bad?
This is a quarterback problem. You've seen all the quarterbacks they have; they're all bad. Harrison Bailey, I think. Look, the book is not still out on him. I don't want to put him in. Well,
because the only quarterback that's gotten consistent,
Guarantano, Maurer, and Shrout. Ain't it?
Well, and because they have not had a quarterback coach, because Jonathan Crompton has taught us this season. Jim Chaney is a coordinator play caller. That's what he is. He's a tight ends coach by trade, and now he is a play caller. He is not a quarterback coach. And that's a problem because Chris Winkie doesn't know how to develop a quarterback. He's only done it to Jared Goff in a rookie year where he was awful as a number 1 overall pick. And look what Jared Goff has done since then. And then he was a high school coach. That's Chris Winkie's quarterback coaching experience. And then he hasn't done anything with any of the quarterbacks on Tennessee's roster in 3 years.
But we hear this all, like we've been hearing this for, God, decade.
What?
You've said the same thing about a quarterback coach. You know, I'm a quarterback coach. Like,
they haven't.
I know. Well,
Josh Dobbs was able to overcome coaching.
Again, that's why I say they need a dual threat quarterback because they obviously can't hire a good quarterback coach. So they need somebody to overshadow the mistakes that you are going to make or maybe your coaches will make. But Jeremy Pruitt's on the hot seat, and he better get his ass in gear this offseason and get this fan base back on his side.
And Ronnie brings up a great comment, and I'll tell you why I like that you brought it up so much. Ronnie says, then go get a quarterback coach. Well, if you fire Chris Winkie, which needs to happen, and Jim Chaney moves on, which could happen, and Jeremy Pruitt gets another year, what legit quarterback coach is going to say, yeah, I'll go to Tennessee and get fired soon? Because that's the situation they're walking into. That is what happened when Justin Wilcox left Derek Dooley's staff as D coordinator. Everybody in the coaching community knew Derek Dooley was going into a lame duck season where he was going to get fired and he couldn't get a legit D coordinator. And guess what? Sal Sunseri happened. And so what legitimate quarterback coach will you be able to have come to your coaching staff just to get fired a year later? That's a really tough spot to be in, which is why I think they need to just wipe it clean from Pruitt down.
They won't, and I'll tell you the logistics of it, and you know it, and I know it, and everybody knows it. When is the first National Signing Day?
December 16th.
How many days away is that?
7. It's next Wednesday.
You're not going to fire a coach. I just don't think you're going to fire a coach. And it's unfortunate. I think Jeremy Pruitt's going to be here for another year.
I think they wait until all those kids sign on December 16th and then fire the coach at Christmas. Like, I think that's what you do.
If you are going to do that,
because why? Because why? Because technically Tennessee plays the 19th. So the season's not over. Yeah. So that actually plays in your favor.
It's just kind of sketchy.
You don't fire the coach before signing day. You get everybody who's committed to sign on the dotted line.
It's just kind of sketchy.
It's very sketchy, but it's the smart way to do it. That's what the schedule lines.
You're kind of setting yourself up for disaster.
But and the one-time transfer thing's going to happen anyway. But normally the season's over. Like, why is the early signing period December 16th? Because the season was supposed to be done this past weekend. So you get 2 weeks after the regular season's over, really 3 weeks after the regular season's over, 2 weeks after conference title games to recruit. But you've been a recruiting dead period the entire year because of COVID. You let those kids sign on December 16th. You play the last game on the 19th. You fire the coach on the 20th. That's how you do it.
What if you don't play on the 19th?
The game won't be canceled until a couple of days before it. So you still get them to sign during the signing period, and you fire the coach the next week. You fire the coach Monday before Christmas. And you say, "Merry Christmas, Coach. Here's your $15 million."
And then you hop on a big orange bus and go to Liberty University.
You can fly there. Hugh Freeze will come to you. That's exactly what happens.
That would be the juice that this program needs. I've said it. It's time for Tennessee to sell your soul. It doesn't feel good at first to sell your soul. Look, Ole Miss, we did it with Lane Kiffin. We got a guy who's been scummy for a long, long time. But you know what? After you've sold your soul and you get what you reap, you walk away and you say, "Wow, this offense tastes pretty good. It's pretty good. I didn't need that soul in the first place."
Yeah.
I don't know why we hired Derek Dooley. The soul that hurt the soul.
Let's see. Rob says if you whiff on Freeze, you're set back 4 or 5 more years. I mean, maybe,
Rob,
but I don't think you're going to whiff on Hugh Freeze.
They've been set back 4 or 5 more years over the last 4 to 5 more years 3 times.
It all started with Kiffin. It all started when Kiffin left.
That was
USC.
2007?
No, it was 2000. Kiffin's season was 2000. It was January of 2010.
2010.
I'm just telling you.
You
were off.
It's 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know. It's actually coming up on 11. If you want to be real about it. A to Z
so
Sports.
10 years is coming up on 11.
Yes, for sure. A to Z Sports.
If you want to be correct.
No, you were wrong with your 27.
I was correct in the 10, though.
Okay. A to Z Sports here live. It's actually, 10 seasons. So I'm just making sure.
You're trying. I get it. You're trying.
We have a video from Jeremy Pruitt going after a media member in Saturday night's press conference, and I think this is a sign that Jeremy Pruitt has lost his cool. But first, Zach, tell the people about Calvin and Suttle.
Did Pruitt pull a Maurer? Did he let somebody get to him? Hey, we'll find that out. We're going to play the video. We will play.
Pruitt pulled a somebody that we're all familiar with.
Harvest Wine Market. We're broadcasting live here off Highway 100 in Belmead. It has a great selection. We're going to talk a little bit more about the gift ideas here coming up on the show. But first, I'm going to tell you about Calvin and Suttle. Calvin and Suttle, hardwood floors. That's what they specialize in. This holiday season, think outside the box. Don't get the traditional gift. You can get some Whistling Pig. You can definitely do that. But on top of that, instead of getting the diamond necklace, go to your wife and go say, "Hey, look, we need to redo this kitchen. Let's rip up these hardwood floors and get some brand new hardwood floors. Let's rip up the old carpet that's been in our house for years, and let's replace those with new hardwood floors." CalvinandSuttle.com's got you taken care of. Once you pick out your perfect hardwood floor from either their showroom or their sample deck, 1 to 2 weeks. They order the material and they install. That's CalvinandSuttle.com. Plus, they'll hook you up with a deal because you heard about them on A to Z Sports. They will take care of you. CalvinandSuttle.com.
A to Z Sports live from Harvest Wine Market. Again, Highway 100 in Belmead. Also, shout out to Tyler in New York for watching the show.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, Tyler?
Tyler having a good morning with his aunt's wine store here in Belmead up in New York watching the show. Big sports guy. So, Zach, we're going to play this video from Jeremy Pruitt Saturday night after the loss to Florida, which 31-19 really kind of irks at me because we both took Florida minus 17.5. They had it covered, backdoor cover on a 4th and 13 touchdown pass with no time left to make that score look a lot more respectable. But Jeremy Pruitt was asked by Blake Topmeyer, the Knox News Sentinel, a legitimate question. He asked about third down conversions for Florida's offense. And what did Jeremy Pruitt think was the reason why Florida was able to convert on third down so efficiently? Here is Jeremy Pruitt's answer.
What did you see being some of the issues in those scenarios?
Well, Blake, I don't know how much you know about football, but, you can play inside man-to-man or you can play outside man-to-man. And if they're running inside breaking routes, you like to play them from inside out. You know, there was 3 times tonight that they converted first downs when we're playing inside man-to-man, and they complete balls breaking inside.
What did you see being some of the issues in those scenarios?
Well, Blake, I don't know how much you know about football, but you know, you can play inside man-to-man or you can play outside man-to-man. And if they're running inside breaking routes, you like to play them from inside out. You know, there was 3 times tonight that they converted first downs when we're playing inside man-to-man, and they complete balls breaking inside.